Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. In today's video, I have a very exciting announcement, which is that my second book is being published by Penguin Random House on the 28th of December this year. But before I tell you more about my second book, I just want to start by saying thank you. Thank you so much to every one of you who bought a copy of my first book, This is Vegan Propaganda and Other Lies the Meat Industry Tells You. Not only did you make the book a bestseller, but it is because of your support and your incredibly kind and supportive feedback and reviews of the book that I was asked to do a second. So thank you to all of you who supported my first book, because without your support and generosity, well, I would not have been able to write the book that I am announcing today. So what is my second book? Well, while discussing concepts for my first book, which became This is Vegan Propaganda, myself and the publishing team discussed the prospect of writing a book called How to Argue with the Meat Eater. Now, How to Argue with the Meat Eater was different to the book that I wanted to write, This is Vegan Propaganda. However, it was clear to me that there was a book that would perfectly suit that title. Now, I don't need to tell you all that throughout my years as an advocate, I have encountered a whole host of arguments. In fact, I think I've probably encountered every argument against veganism that you could imagine, plus some that you would never be able to imagine.
So just to summarize, the reason that Americans should eat meat is to try and stop China from invading America, because if Americans were vegans, they would be too weak to stop a communist invasion.
Well, I'm all for the Red Scare, but in a sense, yes.
Now, it may come as a surprise to you to hear that growing up, the prospect of actively seeking out die-hard cowboys in the heartlands of Texas was never high on my list of priorities. However, after deciding that I wanted to have interesting conversations about veganism with people, all of a sudden chatting with die-hard cowboys became an altogether more intriguing idea.
Yeah, you eat meat, huh?
No, I don't. I'm
and
vegan.
you're wearing a tag that says that animal was killed.
The tag reminds me of the animal.
It looks like you need some meat. You're kind of lanky.
Thank
I know,
you.
right? I've been doing
It's
this
very
shit
kind of
since
you.
about 6 o'clock.
But the tag reminds me of what we do to animals.
So while I can't say that Dallas-Fort Worth rates highly on my list of favorite places in the world, I can say that my experiences there, and indeed in all the other places my vegan advocacy has taken me to, have been invaluable in shaping who I am today and the type of advocate that I am as well. I'm very grateful to be able to say that in the years since I initially started talking about veganism, I've had the privilege of being able to discuss it face to face in front of tens of thousands of different people. These experiences have not only been illuminating in terms of understanding and hearing all the different arguments against veganism that exist, but have also been invaluable in allowing me to stress test my rebuttals and responses. These conversations have essentially presented me with an abundance of opportunities to become a better communicator and a more accomplished advocate. At the same time, I've also been immersed in the ever-growing body of scientific literature that discusses the issues related to our use of animals. I find myself constantly in awe of the incredible work and dedication being carried out by academics, data analysts, and scientists, while also being dismayed by the misinformation and disinformation that sadly spreads like wildfire. I have also had the great honor to meet so many wonderful vegans who have shared their experiences with me and whose stories have inspired me deeply. From people who have been vegan for decades to people who have just made the change, each person's experience being individual and unique, yet often with difficulties and hardships that have overlapped. Sadly, time after time, the vegans I meet tell me they struggle to effectively talk about veganism with the people in their life, or say that they feel overwhelmed by all of the arguments that people use against veganism. So all of this brings me to my second book, How to Argue with a Meat Eater and Win Every Time. This is a book that has allowed me to bring together all of these different aspects of my work, drawing from all of these experiences and from everything that I have learned and I've had the privilege to be a part of so far. It is a book that tackles every argument against veganism. I discuss philosophical arguments, including those made by people like Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris. I discuss political arguments, including the accusations that veganism is racist, ableist, and anti-indigenous. I tackle health claims such as those about anti-nutrients in plants and environmental arguments about so-called regenerative animal agriculture. I discuss religion, insect farming, honey, bivalves, avocados, palm oil. What about almonds, you say? Well, yes, almonds are in there too. And also, is that Piers Morgan shouting about bees again, well, don't worry, because that old chestnut is also in the book as well. But as well as addressing all of these arguments and many, many, many more, this book goes deeper than just the arguments themselves. It explores the landscape of discourse around veganism and importantly outlines how to effectively talk about veganism. This book is not just about what to say to people, it's about how to say it as well. I outline my tips, techniques, and what I've learned from my years of talking about this issue so that you will feel more confident and empowered next time your dad compares himself to a lion, or next time your roommate or partner tells you that plants feel pain and, plant protein is inferior, right? I reference conversations I have had with people and deconstruct passages from debates so that you can see examples of what I'm describing in the book. Fundamentally, this book is designed to be a vegan's best friend, but on top of that, this book sets out to show that the arguments against veganism just don't hold up. This book is hopefully a helpful resource for all of you and is also a non-judgmental and accessible book for anyone in your life who is not yet vegan. While the first book broke down ways that animal farming impacts us, the environment, and of course importantly the animals, this book takes the next step and tackles the arguments against veganism head on. Because I don't know about you, but I am tired of people spreading nonsense about veganism, and I'm tired of people constantly regurgitating arguments that are just blatantly not true. Needless to say, due to the scope and content in this book, it is something that has become very important and personal to me. It is my hope now that this book becomes of great value to you too. So, let me show you the cover of the book. So that's the cover of How to Argue with a Meat Eater and Win Every Time. I really hope that you like it. The book is now available for pre-orders, with it being published officially on the 28th of December. Now, there are a limited number of signed copies available, but if you want a signed copy, then make sure to order it now because they do sell out fast. Of course, all the links for pre-ordering are in the description to this video, and pre-ordering is incredibly helpful. Pre-ordering will determine how successful the book is when it officially is published and will allow it to get much more attention and of course much more traction in the run-up to publication as well. So pre-ordering makes a huge difference to the success of the book, and I really greatly appreciate anyone who does pre-order the book. But that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time, but I also really appreciate all of your support throughout all of the years that I've been advocating for veganism, and I hope that this book can help you in your advocacy and in just your day-to-day veganism as well. Because don't we all know it, that just by being vegan, people will send excuses our way and will throw arguments towards us. But armed with this book, I promise you that the arguments you have leveraged against you, you will be able to respond to. So thank you to all of you for your support. I really hope you like the book. I can't wait for it to be published. But I will see you all in the next video.